What's up, spitters? Welcome to another episode of Spitting Bars featuring me, Cami-Cat, the most important part of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of
That's all
course,
that
And
matters. Thank you, everybody.
and of
yeah.
course, we've got
And
my
I think
co-host Rain, and then me.
yeah, that's me. Okay, that was great. Way better
Thank
than
you.
Dripstick.
Me.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. It's a real honor, actually.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna jump straight into it. We're gonna get into all the cool juicy information.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Like
boy.
like the same thing I ask everyone except Payne. What recording software do you use? Like the DAW?
So I actually use this program that I got back in high school. I
Really?
use Mixcraft Studio. Um,
Yo.
and the reason I got it is because I mistook it for Fruity Loop Studios, which is what it was
Oh.
called when I was in high school. A friend of mine made a lot of music for campaigns that they were a part of. And I was like, oh my God, like what program do you use? And they told me like Fruity Loop FL Studio. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went to Best Buy with my mom and we couldn't find it. We had no idea where it was. And my mom's like, I found this. And I was like, that'll work. And so I've been using it ever since.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. I think our common answer was FL Studios, and then Dripstick said some
Yeah.
weird like CapCut. I don't know what Dripstick said.
He didn't
I mean,
say.
it's
No
the
one said
most popular.
Kapka.
It's the most popular one that I know
Yeah.
of. Though I will say, like, it works really well if you're doing like a consistent beat for everything. But I think for me, it just like there was too much going on. I actually bought FL Studio recently, and I tried to transition into it because I wanted to be able to like marry my projects to everyone else's, and I just couldn't do it. There was too much
Oh.
going on for my brain. So I was
But
just
Oh,
like, I'll just stick with my little Mixcraft Studio.
yeah, there's only like
okay.
one I remember from anyone, and that's just them talking about GarageBand. That's
Yeah,
the only one
Oh
I
GarageBand.
can
man, see
ever
that's what
remember.
everyone starts with actually. That's the
Yeah,
free one that everyone starts
yeah.
with
I
before
Yeah.
remember.
you have money.
Yeah, I remember
Kimmy,
GarageBand and BandLab.
Oh
do you know
yeah.
what Kenny Master is?
I have
The
no idea what Kenny Master is.
Okay, it's like this weird. It's like a it's like CapCut. It's literally like an editing software.
Oh,
And
okay.
Dripstick recorded some of his most popular verses on that, and it
Nice.
was like, yo, that's cool. Like,
Dude, honestly, and this is actually something that I fully attest to, as long as you can get the setup where it sounds clear enough, if you like work hard with the stuff that you are given that you're able to kind of get at the very beginning and shine just using that'll get you so much recognition, and that'll also like kickstart you a lot more than say like if you buy everything from the get-go, like top quality, top priority, everything, because you won't know how to
mhm,
use half of it.
yeah, yeah.
And like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, please, oh, please forgive me for this, but I'm going to bring up the Smash cipher like 8 times in this.
Okay,
I
that's totally fine. That's totally
I
fine.
know
I actually
every
really like
word
that
to it.
cipher.
Because I'm like,
He was actually over last night. He was just singing it all.
yes, I'm religious
Nice.
to that cipher. I am
Nice.
chef's kiss.
That one was really, really fun to be a part of. I was I actually made two verses for that, and then I listened back and it was
Oh.
like, oh, you only have 4 bars, and I was like, oh, I need to fix this. Hold on, don't take my submission yet. I need to fix it.
Yeah,
So
listening.
it was wild.
Yeah. Listening to your verse, you kicked off one of my personal favorite beats and the whole cipher, because like it's got beats are switching with every franchise, and
Hmm.
you just really kicking it off after like it was like a nice jungle beat, and then boom, straight to you. Very good, very good, very 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 good.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I think one big thing that I can kind of bring to the table with ciphers and everything, I still feel like a guest in that space, because I'm still trying to learn everything of like the ins and outs of how to make like a good verse. So some of my verses are like really good on features, and then some of them are not great. And I can fully attest to that. I can look back on them. I can look at reactions to them, and I'm like trying to take notes. And like a student, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I'll understand that for next time. Like, thank you so much for your like input. Like, um, but the Zelda one I was super happy with because I got to not only play around with like um the verse itself, but I got to play with like the vocals, which is like what I am very much kind of that's my bread and butter. If I can add harmonies to something, if I can like add my little choral like choir stuff in there, I'm like, yes, chef's kiss, perfect.
Yep,
Mhm.
really good. Um, what else was? Oh, while I really like your Zelda verse,
Mhm.
I think my favorite Cami-Cat verse ever is probably Ash on the Overwatch
Yeah, I
cipher,
was about to
Jacob
talk
Cassis.
about that actually.
I love that one.
I love the Ash verse.
That one was really fun because I got to actually like play with my drawl, which I don't get to do a lot.
Mhm.
Because I
Yeah.
was raised in South Carolina, and both my parents were from South Carolina, and our family, like our whole family, is very very southern. Like we grew up in probably like the least southern spot, but whenever I go see my family, the drawl kind of comes out a little bit, so I can like pick it back up pretty quick. So being able to like lean into that more rather than kind of be like, all right, push it back. I'm like, ah, yes,
Mhm.
let's
Another,
go.
this is another good example of Cami-Cat being really good at like starting new beats, like
Mhm.
like like kicking off something cool. Mm. I love the Ash verse. Very good.
I'm just the
That,
transition piece.
yeah, that's you. You got that.
Yay!
um. All right, we're just gonna jump straight to the news anchor.
Yeah,
Oh lord.
yeah, we're
Oh
just not
lord.
even gonna act
Okay.
like we're hiding it. It's
Yeah, we're
fine.
not
No,
gonna
you're
act
We're
like
just gonna
good.
we're
You're
get
hiding.
straight
good.
to it.
Yeah, no, earlier when we were getting ready, I did mention because my music stuff isn't my full-time job. I
Hmm.
do have a full-time job outside of my music stuff. And when I got out of college a few years ago, I started as a freelancer at CNN and I worked there for about 5 years. I just quit this last like December. So
Oh,
Bro, I
I
guess CNN
quit.
too. It's crazy.
Yeah, you did. And that was when you were like, "Oh yeah, you work at like Channel 5 CNN News." I was like, "Sure." About that. But no, I started there as a freelancer with CNN Tech Training, and then I worked as a news assistant, and then I worked there for a little while. I would have moved around a little bit more, I think, had it not been for the pandemic. The pandemic kind of like put everything to a screeching halt. And
yeah.
including the news, which feels weird because like the news never sleeps, but it was so limited. I remember so vividly that like they actually, because I was a prompter at the time, basically like when I was a news assistant in the control room, I was a teleprompter, and in the studios I would run scripts to the anchors and stuff,
Hmm.
and help my guests and everything. But when the pandemic started, everyone started doing stuff from home. They had the anchors isolated in studios, and so like I would be completely separate from everybody for a while. It was kind of crazy.
Did you ever get to meet like the main guy of CNN?
That depends which guy you're talking about. There are a
No,
couple of them, and some of them are not there anymore.
I'm trying to.
The
What
one
was
guy
his
that
name?
kept coming up on my school.
Yeah, the one that
But
was
which one?
the one that like sung about Freddy being stuck on a roof and the firefighters saving
Yeah.
him or something.
I
What
do
was
I
his
not
name?
remember
remember that.
I need
I
to
do
search him
not
up.
remember
Let me
that.
let me search him
I
up. CNN.
remember Freddie being stuck on the roof.
Yeah, no,
um,
it was a really cool place to be for the time that I was there though. It was a very, very cool place to be. I just got like emotionally exhausted. So
Yeah, I remember
gosh,
the
what was
Freddie
his
being
name?
sorry, Kimmy. I'm like really invested in the Freddie being stuck on the roof guy.
oh my god.
It was like this little kid got his Five Nights at Freddy's stuffed animal stuck on his roof, and he like called the fire department to bring him
Is
down.
that Wolf Blitzer?
I
What?
don't know.
Did he have white hair and like a beard?
um,
um,
no, it was like a. I don't think
No,
so.
okay, it
he
wasn't him.
looks he looks
I'm just
he
the only
looks
thing I
kind
was
of
sitting there
young.
going, "Oh, okay, so it wasn't Wolf." I'm just sitting there, I'm like, that is something that Wolf Blitzer would do. I loved him. He's great.
You guys post
um,
so much on CNN, it's hard to find like anything from the past.
I feel like his name was Carl something. He looks like a Carl.
Carl?
He looks like a Carl.
I'm literally drawing a blank because I didn't do a lot of like the
Okay, I'm
commercial
searching
work.
up.
I only worked with them strictly on shows and stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to this now. You and I'm so jealous because out of the three or like the three past artists we've had, and I'm including you as that artist, as one of the past artists. you, Drip, and Diggs have all worked with my favorite artist, the Stupendium, and
I
I'm very,
love
very
Stupendium.
I am so jealous. I love Stoops.
Well, like the whole reason I ended up working with them was actually like a total just coincidence. They were working on a project and they needed like a spooky voice.
Hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they literally just reached out on Twitter and they were like, I'm looking for somebody who has a spooky voice. And this other person who had worked with me on it was like a King Boo song. I
Yo.
believe it was Clyde who recommended me, but I don't remember. Um, either way, they shot my ad over to the Twitter and they were like, "Oh yeah, Cami can do spooky vocals." And I leaned in, I was like, "I can do spooky vocals." And then Stoops like messaged me and I was like, "I need this in like 2 days." And I was like, "Cool, here it is tomorrow." And they were like, "Thanks." And that's what Slide into the Void actually was. I just had like a day or two to like get it done. And I was like, "All right, say less, let's go."
I love Stoops so much. The just they're they make a lot of goofy songs about
Mm-hmm.
like strange stuff you wouldn't see in normal, or I don't want to say normal nerdcore, but strange stuff you wouldn't usually see.
What I
It
love about their work specifically is that their wordplay is so clever, not only in
yes.
just like um a certain aspect of like saying things quickly, because like that's one trap that I fell into like early on with like the cipher stuff. I felt like I had to be like quick, and that's not necessarily the case. Like
Hmm.
what I love about Stoops is that they very much lean into the heavy wordplay and references and everything without necessarily having to lean into like the speed of which it comes out of your mouth, which I was
Yeah.
like, that's actually really, really cool. And then like the lines hit more, especially for like more impactful references or more impactful like wordplay. It's really cool all around. Love,
Mm,
love, love,
Hmm.
love, love, love them. And they're also just
okay.
a
And
really cool like person. So
yes,
it's like a double win.
I have I have listened to Stoops for a long while, and then when the roster, or yeah, I think the word is roster, for NPC came out, I'm
Mhm.
like, yo, that's the Stupendium. I love the Stupendium. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I couldn't catch a ticket, so I'm gonna ask you this, and it's only gonna make my jealousy even worse. Um, did Stupendium perform the fine print?
uh the thing is I'm trying to remember the specific like I know their songs. I'm really bad with titles is my
Oh,
problem.
okay.
Ba 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 ba
I
ba.
I don't even know how to summarize it for you. The best song
No, you're
ever.
good. You're
Um,
good. The best song ever. Oh my goodness. Like, don't mind me just biding time really fast to just
No.
listen. Oh yeah, they did. They played. They yep. This was like the last
oh,
song they performed,
oh,
and I remember so distinctly because like me like during like our sound checks and stuff, or like during the prep into it. I just remember me, Rustage, and a couple other folks just coming over with like a little shovel dance in the background, like just going to the rhythm and just using a shovel. Like it was
yeah.
very funny. I do love that song. Again, I'm just not
Okay.
great with like actual titles of stuff, and I'm like, oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I have a question, and this is going back to the CNN thing.
No.
I was talking about this guy. Did you ever meet him?
Oh yeah, no. Oh my god. Okay. What's so funny about him is
Mm,
that whenever because he does a lot of stuff for like educational things, and
mm-hmm.
so a lot of schools would come like visit, and then he'd walk out onto like basically out into where like the public can see like people work, like employees and everything, like because there was like an upper level of that building, and everyone would start screaming. And the first time it happened, I thought like something horrible was happening. I like turn around and he's like waving, like, "Hey everyone, what's going on?" And they're like, "Yeah!" And I'm like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah,
I
he
was
saved
That's
Rockstar
wild.
already.
he was
And
everywhere on like school TVs and everything.
yeah. So yeah, like a lot of students like were super excited. It's like because I'm older, it's basically what I'm thinking what it would be is my equivalent of if I ever saw Bill Nye the Science Guy, I think I'd lose my mind.
I feel like
I'd be
Bill.
like, "Bill, Bill, Bill!"
I feel like Bill's a lot higher than him, but still.
Feels
But still,
awesome.
like that's what it felt
No.
like to me because I didn't know who this was, but like that's what I equated it to in my mind. I was like, "Oh my god!" That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, he like sang an entire song about Freddie being stuck on a roof.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
so Cammy, we're gonna head back into the NPC
Yeah.
Okay.
area. Cammy, you performed at NPC,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, I was the second performer on the stage that night.
Okay, I was gonna say you went after Peso
Yep.
because I was. So, are you familiar with Neo Nerdcore?
Yes.
I was in VC with Neo, and they were streaming the um the NPC
Oh,
because they got the
nice.
the
Yeah,
virtual
yeah,
tickets.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, let's go! I get to watch it. And
Nice.
might I say, Peso starting off, very, very, very good choice. But
Peso is a wonderful performer.
halfway through Peso doing his verse, I had to like go out for dinner. So
Hmm.
I stayed in the VC, just muted, stayed in the stream and listened to the rest of VC or listened to the rest of NPC while
Hmm.
at a restaurant. And it was like this whole thing. And like my mom knew I was doing it, so she kept like checking in. She was like, "Who's performing now?" I'm like, "Cami-Cat." I think
Nice.
I think I made it to Rustage before I had to leave it, which is a
Gotcha.
bummer because I really 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 wanted to listen to CG5 and Stoops.
Hmm.
uh,
Well, see, they were both like near the end of the whole like show.
Yeah,
Hmm.
who finished it all off?
It was CG5 who finished it off.
Oh yeah,
okay.
CG5 is
Yeah, CG5, and then my lovely, lovely friend Kathy also like they performed the Amanda Adventurer song.
Hmm.
mm,
Yeah, and I literally I actually pushed my way into the front because it was Kathy's first performance, and like
Wow.
as Kathy ever, yeah. And I was like, "You're performing in front of like 1,200 people. If you need to look at anyone, I'm gonna be at the front. I don't care where they need me. Like at the end of the show, I'm gonna be right there screaming at you." And she's like, "Okay." And for sure enough, like I was sitting there and I was like, "That's my wife. That's my friend Kathy. Let's go." Everyone was screaming about CG5, and I'm over there like, "Kathy!"
Everyone's looking at CG5. You're the one person at Kathy's booth.
No, like everyone actually, there were
oh,
so many people who like went up to Kathy afterward and were like, "That was a phenomenal performance," and that just warmed my whole heart because like me and her have been doing music for a while. TM, like way, not like way back in the good old days, but like um with the Vocaloid stuff in particular, like all back in like 2008 to 13ish, where that was like the Vocaloid stage, and then after that was the like lyrical adaptations of video games, and like we ended up connecting in like Undertale, like that video
mm,
game
Hmm.
realm, and we've
ooh.
been friends like ever since that point. So her being able to perform like the music finally, I was like, yes, let's go. I was so excited.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, like I
Did
would ask, but obviously NPC seems like it went really well.
I mean, it went a
um
lot better than my first performance as Cami-Cat because, like, my first one was at MomoCon, and I was deathly terrified. Um,
Hmm.
I ended up messing up my first song really bad.
Oh.
But the best part about messing up my first song, I was like, well, I can't get any worse than that. It's only up from here. So by
yeah,
having that like basically 30-minute smaller show, I felt a lot more comfortable going into like a 1200 three-song performance. It was a lot it was a lot more lax, and I also like in that venue, you couldn't really see as many people.
Hmm.
And I knew that there were only a couple people in that audience that I really like thought about when I was there, and it was my friends and my parents. And so I was like, I'm just gonna perform for them. I'm gonna have a good time. We're all having a good time. And then the audience, the sound was so crazy. Everyone was so excited. And that also kind of like made me even more enthused. I was like, oh thank God, like you guys are all having a good time too. Good. Now I can keep going.
yeah,
Okay.
that's awesome. NPC. Um, did Cam Steady crowd surf or whatever the term is?
Okay, so he did, but not in the way that he did in Chicago, because at this particular venue, there was like a lot of cords at the front of the stage. And so the
Mm.
sound guys were like, you can't jump. we cannot have you jump. And so what Cam did afterward is he actually went to talk to the guys, and he was like, "Can I run around? Can I run around to the front of the audience?" And they were like, "Yeah, that should be fine." And so
Hmm.
Cam actually was doing the song, and I thought he was gonna jump because of the way he was hyping it up. I was so scared that he was gonna do something and hurt himself. But no, sure enough, he just bolted around, and I was like, "Oh, where'd he go?" And then he like popped up in the middle of the audience. We're like, "Oh, there he is! Cool."
Yeah,
And
he
Shao took that to heart too. And during his performance, he actually did the same thing, but ran around, ran through the audience, and then ran up to where the VIP section was and started performing from the second level. And we were all like,
yo,
"Okay."
Cam Cam Steady. I'm assuming he did it during Mewtwo. That's
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I remember my first time ever hearing Mewtwo.
Hmm.
It was on. I put myself on Nerdcore Radio because I'm like, I got nothing to do. I'm gonna play some Overwatch. Let's just listen to
Hmm.
Nerdcore Radio. And Mewtwo started playing, and I listened to probably the whole song without knowing that was Cam Steady, and just thinking it was
Ah.
some guy I never heard. And then I look back and I'm like, yo, this is Cam Steady.
What's what's so great about Cam is that he is a wonderful performer and he knows how to bring the best performances out of people. Like
He's so hype.
he when I was doing rehearsal for the performance, I weirdly enough again was a nervous wreck. Like during my rehearsal of like one of the songs I was doing, my hands were shaking, my voice was shaking. I like couldn't get a breath out. And I was just like, oh god. Like I got through everything and it sounded like okay. But Cam saw that there was something up. And as I sat down, he just walks over and he goes, "When we get into the venue, I'm gonna give you a line. You're not allowed to move behind that line. You're not allowed to retreat from the audience." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Listen, it works. Trust me. I'm just going to give you a line. We're going to get there. I'm going to show you where it is. You're not allowed to move behind it. You're going to have the best performance you've ever had." And I was like, "Okay." but but sure enough, we got there and like I remembered, I ran over to him. I was like, "Where's my line?" And he's like, "It's right there. Don't move away from it." I was like, "All right, cool. Got it." And sure enough, I felt really comfortable. I felt like everyone was still like participating throughout my whole performance. Like it was awesome.
Hmm.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he's very good at like not only being a good performer but getting the best performances out of everyone, regardless of whether or not he is on stage with them.
Mm.
Because like
Mm.
both Kodo and Mir, who we had on stage with him, they were just having a ball. They put in a full rehearsal like choreography mode. It was awesome.
It is
Loved it.
so.
Loved it.
It's so cool to finally like talk to. I'm gonna say this, and it's especially because of you.
Oh,
when you when you joined the dollar server, because that's my collective, that's my thing.
mhm.
When when you joined that, everyone flipped out and like DM me and they're like, "How much did you have to pay Cami-Cat to join the server?" And I'm just like, just talk to them. Like it's not it's not really that hard. Just take your chance, shoot them a DM. You never know. Look at me now. I'm in a podcast with you.
Honestly.
what I
It's
what I
like,
like I really like talking in podcasts about stuff because I like being able to kind of like um go into more of like the behind the scenes stuff because I like being able to not only talk about like the performances of stuff, I just like to talk about how cool people are.
Mm.
that's so valid. We have been on like
Yeah,
this 15-minute Cam steady rant about how
Yeah.
he's awesome. Kim and your mic's doing
pretty
the thing
much.
again.
Is it?
Yeah, it's okay, bud. It's gone now. It
Oh,
stopped.
okay.
um,
I looked back. I do not have the humidifier off.
Ah.
um, so when on Diggs' episode, I forgot which concert or which NPC he said it was at,
Hmm.
but I know he said that Cam Steady, I think it was at the Chicago one, because he said he looked away for 1 second and then turned around and Cam Steady was like inches away from landing on him. and,
Oh no. Well, like the thing about
and
Cam is that when he did that, he made sure that all of like the people who he knew would support him were in the front. He like
hmm
made a concerted effort of like, "Hey, I need my people here," because he was like, "I'm not about to jump in that audience unless I know there are people there who are going to catch me." But he wasn't going to say that out loud. Like, I actually asked him afterward. I was like, "How did you know you were like gonna get caught?" Like, I would have been terrified. He's like, "Oh no, I knew there were people there for me." I was like, "Oh, that makes a lot more sense."
Yeah.
But like, you
Afterwards,
wouldn't have thought it when you were in there in that moment. He
yeah,
was just like, "Hey, I need my people in the front to get hype," but that was like his cue to the people who were going to help him crowd surf to be like, "I need you right in the position I need you. Like, this is where you gotta be."
yeah. After the podcast, me and Dave were just talking like one on one, and he was talking about the picture of Cam Steady crowd surfing in Chicago, and he sent
Those are
it to
cool
me.
pictures.
Yeah, he sent it to me, and he's like, "I'm right there," and I'm like,
Oh yeah,
"Where are?"
wait, I think I
And
remember him talking about
I'm like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "I'm the one under Cam Steady."
that.
I'm like, What do you mean you're under him? He's crowd surfing." And he's like, "I am directly under his torso, supporting his whole body." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." That was
No,
awesome.
it was wild. I think I was in like the front row at NPC that year too, and I just saw him leave. I was like, "Oh, oh God!" I thought he was gonna like just fall over, but sure enough, he
Just
like
face
rose up, and I
planted
was
into
like,
the ground.
"Amazing!" Yeah, it was like the heckin' Hunchback of Notre Dame when the like Esmeralda like leaps into the audience and they carry her away while the two like officers try and do it, and they both just fall on the floor. I was like, "Oh God!"
You
That's the
brought up
mother hen in me. That's me being concerned for everybody.
you brought up Xiaodo earlier. I just need to
Yes,
talk about Xiaodo for a second because my God, is that guy killing it right now?
I
He
adore Shao.
he is in Fortnite. He is
He's
he is like
The thing
everywhere.
is, he's been doing this for a while, and he's been living like a crazy thing. I think the funnest thing that I like to think about is I'm like, he was an American Ninja Warrior, or he was on
dude.
like
This
the
guy does
Ninja Warrior show.
everything.
I didn't even
Yeah,
know about
and I'm like, that's
that.
so cool. Yeah, no, he's just been living his best life, and I'm like, that's so cool. And the best part is, he's continuing to do it. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
a, oh, this is my legacy, I'm done. He's like, nah, dude, it doesn't stop. It never stops. But he's also like one of the most humble people that I have ever met. Like the way that he holds a respect for you while you have a conversation with him is
Hmm.
just, it's phenomenal. And you feel very much like, oh, like this is a very cool, like, not, I don't want to say intimate, that's not the right word, but there is a very much high respect there, which is really cool when you think about, yeah, Shao has done all these crazy wacky wild things and has this huge renown, and yet he still will approach you in a conversation like, hey, very nice to meet you, like full on conversation.
Mm.
Very,
Hmm.
very cool dude. Very,
Yeah,
very cool dude.
I
Love him.
I've heard a few of his things and ciphers and stuff, but it like
Hmm.
really caught me off guard when Rain told me that he was in a song with The Rock. You said was it or
Or no,
something?
he
He
he was in the same album as The
he
Rock.
was in
He
the
was
same
in
album. Okay.
yeah, Tech
Hmm.
Nine was in. He was in the Tech Nine album.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Shadow man, he's
He's
killing it.
he's he's crazy.
Cammy, I this just came to my brain. Are you in the Nerdcore Minecraft server?
I just got in there, but I haven't actually played in it yet.
Mm.
Because Nem keeps posting screenshots.
Yeah.
And
I had to take my computer in for a few days, so they invited me, and I was like, "Yay!" And then my computer died, and I was like, "No!" So I haven't been able to actually like do anything in the server.
Mm.
And I probably won't for a while because my primary thing right now, my primary game I'm trying to play is Baldur's Gate 3. I'm trying so hard to get through that game, and it's taking me so long, and I'm not even through Act 1, and it hurts because I'll never get done.
I've been playing
there
Dave
is
the Divers.
like there's there's so much going on in that server, in that Minecraft server right now.
Hmm.
There's like the first screenshot I saw was the conversation between Dan Bull and Rustage about how they should be working right now, but instead they're playing Minecraft. And
Yeah, but the fun part about it is that it can be content if you so choose. Like that's
If
the
yeah,
you
fun
choose to
part of it. You
record
can
it.
it is.
when you start doing like your nerdcore stuff or like music stuff and you start doing that with friends, as long as everyone's okay with it, anything like that can be content if you just start recording. And like you can
Yeah,
make it into like a fun little highlight thing. You can turn it into like a funny little TikTok. You can turn it into just
An
like
extra channel,
a tweet,
whatever.
like an extra channel. Yeah, like And it's just like that it's fun about like content creation in that sense is that like you can do what you're most excited about and then you can have people learn more about like what kind of um not what kind of person it's like what kind of performance you can give like that's not just like vocal music stuff like they can see like more of the personality behind the music when you do like that kind of extra content things. I think it's very fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's I think my personal favorite screenshot. You've probably seen it because it's like the best one.
Mhm.
The of McGuire being like violated.
Oh yeah.
He's like he was there was it was is it Hala or Hala? CG.
Hala
Hala.
CG.
Okay, I got it. I knew that. I just didn't want to be wrong. It was
Oh, you're good.
Hala, Lychee, Rose, and McGuire were all playing Minecraft, and apparently some argument happened, and it resulted in this of McGuire just
Oh
being
yeah.
absolutely violated. I love McGuire.
I love McGuire too. McGuire is just such a sweetheart.
McGuire was one of my top people that I wanted to get on this podcast
Oh yeah.
because I heard from another guy that used to do Nerdcore podcast that McGuire loves podcasts. And I'm like,
Oh.
this is my moment. This is my time to shine. I have zero way of contacting McGuire. I have
Cool.
no clue
Me
on
just
how to get
quietly
a hold
going.
of
So
this
me
guy.
and McGuire need to make a podcast because I love like talking on podcasts and stuff and just conversating. So
Mhm.
like, when are we gonna? Okay, hold on. Crash knuckles.
This McGuire, if you're watching this,
Please.
add me back. Add me back.
Oh.
McGuire, we have maybe a schedule in like a month.
Yeah,
Please.
September 1st is always open.
Oh goodness.
um, yeah, I McGuire was. I'm just gonna for the real ones watching this. I heard you brought up Mir Blackwell earlier. What
Yeah.
if I told you he's next?
Oh, that's so fun!
And
Dude, Mira is a performer. Like, I remember the first time I actually met him was at NPC Chicago, and I just sat there and I was like, the absolute like electricity that he like gets the whole audience into is insane.
Mhm.
Like,
yeah, Mir.
absolutely love it.
Yeah, I've Mir is one of the people that like if I DM him,
Hmm.
he'll respond to like there's like I don't know how to word this. He'll respond to me as like a bro, like that,
Yeah,
like we are like day ones
is that very much like
because
approachable energy of like, oh yeah, we're good. Like, what's up?
yeah, I like play Among Us with this guy. Like
Those are my
I
favorite kind of people. Like, actually, and I don't know if I don't think this would be a bad thing to bring up because I honestly think that it says a lot about his character. We were talking about Xiao earlier. I was very nervous about meeting Xiao, and then I just long story short for this entire podcast, I'm a nervous bean. So, um, we were doing like a fun little like dinner thing, and Xiao like leapt onto a table, and we're like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he's just like full on Spider-Man pose. We're like, "Oh my god, Spider-Man!" He's like, then he just jumped down from the table and one by one started introducing himself to everybody, and that's what really hit for me. And that's why I talked about like respect, the respect you could feel like resonating. Like he went out of his way to like make sure that he shook hands with every single person that he could during that like first introduction of everybody all together, which I was
Mhm.
like, that's a cool person. That is somebody who like
That's someone you could
absolutely
always vibe with.
exactly. That is someone who is down to vibe and you like
There's no
God,
declining.
just no declining at all.
Yeah, there's
Full
a
respect.
I wish I could have gone to MPC. There's so many people I want to meet. McGuire. I really want to meet McGuire. I wanna meet Stoop. Um,
Yeah. That's what I love about like NPC and like going to conventions and stuff is like being
yeah.
able to meet these people who I've either like worked with or I've talked with on occasion like on regular occasion because we're like in proximity to collaborations or anything or like we've
Mhm.
done projects before but never like necessarily like interacted personally. I think it's really really cool just to like even if you don't necessarily like do the same kind of music or the same kind of thing just being able to talk to each other as people is like so cool. I absolutely
Yeah.
love that. And that's what I think is so cool about NPC, and I really hope that it gets bigger. I don't know how they're going to make it bigger than it was. Like that was an insane amount of artists, an insane audience. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I want them to do it because that's such a cool opportunity for people.
Yeah.
Honestly,
NPC is
I think I might
awesome.
go next time it happens.
Dude, let's go,
Yeah.
me and you.
Am I
Dude, I
paying for you?
recommend it. It's so fun.
I am I'm slowly one by one introducing Camden to nerdcore artists because
Yeah.
I am like religious to
Nice.
nerdcore. I'm getting Camden into it, and it's like it's funny. It's almost funny just like showing him the baby steps. Like this is Peso Pete. Say hi, Peso Pete.
The
And he's
only
like
thing I
Hi.
remember from Peso P is big money, big time. That's all.
that,
That's all.
all you need to know is that he's very mad. I joined his server today, and his general chat is called Angry General. And I'm like, yeah, this is peso. This is peso.
The only thing
Nice.
I really know about Peso, other than him being Wario on that Mario Party cipher and like the Smash cipher, was that
Hmm.
he offered Rain like a discount on for like a
Yeah,
boost and stuff, but Rain declined because he broke as hell.
yeah.
Ah.
Going from it was a big difference, and it was just like
Hmm.
awesome to have be able to be looked at that like looked. You know what I'm trying to say by
Yeah,
Peso
like
Who
Pete.
even notice?
Yeah, to be noticed like
honestly,
that by Peso
like
Pete.
that's one thing that I think a lot of nerdcore stuff. It's a weird position to be in where you're at the point, and I'm still trying to learn it of like where you've gotten to the point with your audience where you can sit there and if people do inquire, it's like, no, I do know like a good general rate for me, and like I know that this is kind of what I deserve to get for the work that I put into stuff. Um, like I've done several projects when I was earlier on that I did basically just out of the goodness of my heart and it was fun, but there were a lot of like hoops and hurdles that I sat there and I was like, okay, that was a lot of effort for not a lot of like
Money.
output after. Yeah, not even money, but just like I for me because music is not my full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to enjoy myself more when I do it rather than the money. Like of course I'm slowly working my way to see how long it will take for me to get into music full time. Like I've actually built a financial plan for me to see what my goal income would be with content creation that could jump into it full time while still having the comfort of living that I currently have. So it wouldn't necessarily be a struggle. And I don't mind doing that. I don't mind taking the year or two or three or whatever the heck to just build that up for myself because then it's not necessarily like it is a goal, but it's not like I have to do it or I'm going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like because I would struggle with that a lot because music's always been a passion of mine. So being able to know what I'm worth with the music is phenomenal. But I'm also very particular about what kind of projects I take on, just because I'm like, is it going to spark joy? Is the like the meme way of putting it. But like, am I going to enjoy myself when I make this? Like, are the people who are making it? Is it going to be something that I genuinely like will find entertaining? Like, those are extra things on top of like the first budget thing. And sometimes, depending on like the project, I might just be like, yo, I'll do it. Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Or like by now, I have a couple of regular people I work with who we already have an established agreement on like certain projects. So we're both just like, hey, we're doing a thing. And it's like, all right, go do it. Like, so it kind of depends.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was a lot.
No, you're fine.
It's okay. Everybody always has their little rant.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember Drips was about how like following your dreams, and Diggs I think Diggs had my favorite speech of all time ever on the podcast
Oh
about
yeah.
big directed towards big artists, and it's not to be hesitant to collab with little artists and
Mm-hmm.
give them the
Oh
spotlight they need.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like honestly, my and this is honestly yes, Diggs. Full on agree. There are several artists that I've worked with who are still relatively smaller in terms of like audience, but their quality is like insane. One person I
Yeah.
can think of, like two people I can think of off the top of my brain, are Nahuel Nahu Pyrope. Did
Hmm.
a lot of the metal stuff that I've done recently. They also did a metal song with Hala CG recently.
Yeah.
And the quality and speed of which he's gotten stuff out is insane. I'm sitting there like, go do more things, please. Like, I want to show you off, like more. But if I had more projects to do with you, I totally would. I just don't have anything else right now that's like fitting the vibe that I want to do with you. And then the other person is Comidrian, who I worked with regularly. They got really big in the Undertale world, and then they bounced away from it for a little bit, and now they're building themselves back up in a different venue of things. But again, speed, quality, like being able to jump off of the ideas that I have in my brain, it's insane. Like, if an artist can show their quality of work to me, and it has to be like a decent body of work. I want to see like a decent library that shows not only are you good at it, but you enjoy doing it. You're not sitting there doing it to meet people. You're not doing it to make the money. You're not doing it to like go do these big things. You're doing it because you love it, and your library should show that.
Yeah. Man, that was
Long
cool.
story short, I agree with Diggs.
And then there was another
um.
big thing he was talking about making fun of me and shit.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
no, why?
He made fun of Kevin because Kevin said he didn't listen to music, and Diggs is like, "How do you live, dude?"
To be fair, it kind of depends. Like, there are people who like maybe listen to like podcasts and stuff. Like, I know people who
I don't
their
listen to
like bread and
anything.
butter is like, you don't listen to like anything at all.
I sit in
That's
silence
rough,
or
man.
watch YouTube.
See, no, but YouTube, there it is. So see, you
There,
do
cool.
watch something, you just didn't want to say what it was.
But
So
Yeah.
ha 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 ha.
Caught you.
Jokes on
Caught
you.
God dang. But no,
Like,
like he was like he was like I'm like I can't listen. I'm fucking stuttering, bro.
It
He's like
was so
you're
funny.
good, you're good.
he
Don't worry
was,
about it.
I was like, but I can't listen to music at work. I'd get in trouble. He's like, listen to it on the way to work. I'm like, it's like a 10-minute drive. He's like, that's 3 songs, bro.
That is 3 songs. That 3 songs are like 2 orchestra tracks, or like, for me, I'm like, that's the first like 2 or 3 sections of a musical. Like, um, I I have this traveling tracks Spotify playlist, and like there's a chunk of it that's just musicals. It's like the entire soundtrack of the entire musical, and it's like 3 or 4 musicals in a row. And then I have the Irish folk section, which is just Colin McGuinness, the Longest Johns, and like several other shanties from like Assassin's Creed 4. And
Mm.
and then I've
Also,
got like the soundtrack section, which is
mm.
like movie soundtracks, and I just let my brain wander.
Okay, I have a
Mm.
question.
Yeah,
So Cami, you don't
yeah.
have to answer this, but I was just wondering
Uh,
because you give off the vibe. Were
Okay,
you a drama kid in high school?
I wish.
Oh,
uh,
okay.
No,
Okay.
I
this is
was
the
gonna
fun
ask
part.
that.
Yeah, no, this is the fun part. So I actually, and people, this is so, I have a weird life. So I was a choir kid from like elementary school to middle school. And then in like the middle school section of my life, like late elementary school to middle school to high school ish era, my parents tried to put me in everything, anything sports,
Mm.
because it was a lot of energy got expended in sports, and that meant I was tired when I got home. So like they tried to find something that I enjoyed doing. So I actually was one of the like varsity athletes at school. So I didn't have time to do any of like the musicals or anything. I didn't have time to do like extra stuff outside of that because I was constantly swimming, and I was a distance swimmer.
Mm.
So I did like practices that were up to like 10,000 yards
Oh.
practice in like 2 hours.
Ugh.
Yeah. And so I actually, that's how I ended up in Atlanta and ended up going to CNN is I
Mm.
went to Georgia Tech as a varsity athlete. I was recruited to be a distance swimmer at Georgia Tech.
Mm. Okay.
Mm.
I was
Yeah.
just asking
So
because you really gave off the vibe.
Yeah, we're both
I
theater kids.
love
Yeah.
performing. The thing is, like, I love performing. I did ballet for like 7 years. I did try out for my like local choir or local performance drama club things. But the problem is where I grew up was so clicky. If
Mm.
you were not in it when you were itty bitty baby, then
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't let you do anything like big. They wouldn't let you take any big roles. You always had to be part of the chorus. And like my mom really like she knew that kind of early on, which is why she pushed me more away from it and more into sports because she's like, sports don't have as much clickiness going on. You will have it, but at the very least, you are respected for the talent that you have. Like
Okay.
Because I probably would have done more drama stuff and more theater stuff if it weren't for the fact that the instructors were also like they had their favorites kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
and like all that. So if it weren't for that, I probably would have done more performances in theater and stuff. Um, but I still loved performing regardless. Like I, in club swimming, I used to sing the national anthem before the start of swim meets. Like I'd be
Yo.
in my bathing suit and be like, "On the Rockets, red glare," and then I'd like jump into the pool and go swim. Like,
But
so I
yeah.
love to
Yeah.
perform. I love being able to like go out there and like meet people and do the stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
perform the songs and everything, even though it still kind of terrifies me.
Mm.
I do very
Mhm.
much enjoy it.
Yeah,
All right.
me and Ryan are both actual
Yeah, we're
drama
theater
kids.
kids.
Well, I'm a tech too.
Nice.
Yeah, I act. Um,
Oh,
I
nice.
had I have like a double question right here.
Mhm.
Um, First, how did being asked to join NPC work? Like how did it work when you got asked?
So, we applied first. I
Mm-hmm.
applied with a couple of songs that I had, and it was like, what makes your music like stand out? What makes you stand out as a performer? And I was like, my music is very, very different from a lot of people's, but at the very least, it has a lot of call and answer. So even if people don't know who I am, they can pick up on it really fast. Like that was my little
Mhm.
shtick.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the like they gave me the opportunity. They were like, hey, we want you to perform with us. This is like we'd love to have you if you're available. And I was like, say less right now. I'm down. Whatever. What do you need me to do? Like, I will do it. I do not care. And so we had to have like who our plus ones were going to be. Like, who are we inviting to like come watch us perform or perform with us or whatever the heck. They gave us like the itinerary of stuff that was going to go down. We had to have like our merch in by a certain date. We had to have our set list in by a certain date. We got the itinerary of like when we needed to get there, when we needed to be at like rehearsal, and when we needed to be at like sound check and everything. Um, and yeah, no, it was super organized in that way, and they made very much sure that they gave us ample time for all of the necessary steps that we needed to take, especially because with the set list in particular, they were like, we know that some people like will be releasing songs later, so we're gonna have the set list done later only because we want to make sure that if you do release something and you want to perform, you can do that. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mhm.
they were very good about that. That's how I ended up doing Peaceful Skies with Chewy. Because I've been wanting to do a song with Chewy forever, and this was like the perfect excuse. As soon as
Chewy's
I knew I was
awesome.
in, I was like, Chewy, we're doing a song. He's like, okay, what are we doing? And I was like, this one. And he's like, okay.
Chewy is. I can't even remember the first place I heard Chewy. Well, first place I did hear Chewy. First place I heard everyone. I'm not even gonna lie. It's the Smash Cipher.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was like my big introduction, and that's how I heard a dripstick, and that was like, this is my guy.
Gotcha.
This is
Gotcha.
this is
Gotcha.
the guy. But
Nice.
yeah, I heard Chewy in in that as Squirtle, so I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
nice little rapper guy, and then I heard him as Toad in Kevin Bennett Mario Cipher, and I'm like, oh, rapper guy is now singing guy, and
Mm-hmm.
now, and then I saw him at NPC, or I heard him at NPC, and I'm like, so now he's rapper guy and singer guy. He
Yeah.
does
No, see,
both.
I actually the first time I ever heard Chewy was actually during the rehearsals of NPC last year. Like, I don't remember what song it was, but I remember so distinctly that after they did their little sound check rehearsal thing, I went up to him. I was like, I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing something. And he was like, okay. And I was like, listen, I love your voice. We have to do something. I will figure it out.
Yeah,
I'm very much
Chewy's
that kind of person. I'm like, if I fall in love with a voice or like the particular sound a person has, I'm sitting there like clawing at the walls, going, "Please, I want to work with you on something. I don't know what it's gonna be, but don't forget that I want to." That's how I am with McGuire because we're both like the choir folk in a lot of nerdcore stuff. We both bring like the backing vocals and like the harmonies and stuff. And so we're both
yeah.
just sitting there going, "So when are we just gonna do like a epic orchestral choir thingy or like an acapella choir thing? I don't know, but it's gonna happen like at some point. I don't know what it's gonna be. We
Yeah,
gotta figure it out."
McGuire's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
McGuire's
yeah.
cool. I heard I heard McGuire on Smash. It's gonna be so weird saying I didn't hear someone on Smash. Um, Well, I listen to, in case you haven't caught on, I'm a huge Cypher guy, but
Mhm.
um I listen to Smash Cypher, and then once I already listened to that as many times as NemReps watched Infinity War, I started I started listening to the Overwatch Cypher,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this person, the Ash sounds like Zelda. This is
Mhm.
crazy. And then that's how I'm like, oh, that's Cami-Cat. I start listening to your music. I DM you on Twitter. Hey, I
Mhm.
got a podcast. And now look
Yeah.
at it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And now we're
Yeah.
here.
This
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yahoo!
NemReps, please reply to me.
Now I've got I've actually got a question for y'all. And this
Oh.
is just
Uh-oh.
me being
Oh.
curious. What do y'all think of
Uh-oh.
my voice, like in particular? Like, what do you think of like the particular sound?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, the only reason I ask that is because I like the biggest thing that I always get from whenever I do vocal stuff is that it's very different from a lot of other like female vocalists, and
Mhm.
I've always known that since like a while back. So I was just kind of curious. And I used to hate my voice when I was younger, um, because it's so warm in comparison to a lot of other like female vocalists who have a lot. They're I don't know how to say it other than like the way that my friend Genuine described it to me. Because a lot of female vocalists, their decibel range for their voice is so much higher, and
Mm.
mine is in this weird like middle area. So it's
Okay.
got this warm like raspiness to it. Like the best like perfect comparison, Chi Chi. Like Chi
I
Chi's
love
got
Chica.
her very like high, like her very high crispy voice, but it comes out clear and clean.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hala, she also has this really beautiful voice. She does have power in it, but it's still got like a different air to it. Like I have a really weird raspy voice.
Or
Okay.
when you ask how we feel about your voice, do you mean speaking or like
In
in music?
general, like I mean,
Okay.
Okay.
this is the first time in a minute that I don't think we've actually had a conversation outside of this podcast. So like
Hmm. No, no, no.
either
Um,
in the
That's fine.
performances or just in conversation.
So, okay, I'll go first, I guess. And
Yeah.
music and stuff, your voice, I feel like it in like the raspy sense, I don't really see it that. But like when you were
Okay.
talking just now, I
Yeah.
kind of like see a bit of raspiness or something, but
yeah.
Yeah.
it could also just be mic quality. But that's from what I'm
Yeah.
hearing from just normal
In
talking.
Gotcha. Okay.
in most of the songs I hear you in, there is like zero rap.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It is you. Like
Yeah.
that is that is singer. Like that is boom.
The- Wah.
But like
Whatever.
Yay.
talking, a lot of people. I remember when you had Chaos on for the first time.
Mhm.
Chaos raps in like a high pitch Eminem kind of voice,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
That's
then
the
when we had
music
him on the
style he
pod,
kind of base it off of, he said.
and then
Mm.
when he hopped on the podcast, he was kind of just like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Yeah.
Like I'm like, "Oh, I did not expect that."
Yeah. Chaos is
Hey
like our
guys,
number
how's it
one
going?
fan.
Chaos comments on all of our
He
videos. I
does.
love
He
Chaos.
watches
Chaos,
Nice.
them all, and I love him.
That's
Chaos, if you're
awesome.
watching this, tell the kids I said
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah. Yeah. Give him a hug for us or something. I don't
Yes.
know. We
um,
love Chaos.
Aw.
Kimmy Cat, you are very cool.
Oh,
See,
thank you.
you can tell when we run out
I
of
love how
questions.
matter of fact that was. I was like, oh, thanks.
We
um.
you can very much tell when we run out of questions.
Okay. Cami-Cat, when you play D&D, what class do you choose?
I actually, okay, this is really funny. Okay. Okay. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
There's particular things that you play and you experiment and you find the build that works for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my first D&D character was a paladin. I
Mm-hmm.
played a paladin and I struggled really hard because in the initial campaign I was in, it very much leaned on like the survival part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And paladins have heavy armor and it takes 10 minutes to put on. We kept on getting caught and I didn't have time to put my armor on and I hated it so much. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm never having to wear armor again. I'm playing a rogue. That way I never have to wear armor. And so like I played a rogue my second time and I've actually kind of found a second time I played a bard, but like that after that particular one, I was like, I'm never gonna wear armor again. Um, so I've actually found that one of my few like I love playing a bard. Like, of course, that's very entertaining for me. I like being able to sort of be versatile in what I can do in either damage or support. And then I've actually started falling in love with rangers. I'm trying a bunch of different subclasses of rangers just because
Mm.
I find it a fun like tasty marriage between combat and spell casting because they're like half casters.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and so I've been falling in love with ranger most recently, which is really funny because everyone's like, "Oh, that's the worst class." I'm like, "Well, clearly you don't play it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first time I played, I was a rogue, but the next time I play, there's only one thing I want to do, and I'm not changing from this. So I want to
Uh-huh.
be a lizard folk artificer with a noble background. No, and you want
Ooh,
to know the
that
reason why?
why?
King K rule.
Oh my god. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
kind of
I'm
hilarious.
I'm a dragonborn paladin because it sounded cool.
Yeah.
um,
Nice.
what was there was another thing. Oh, I was gonna for chaos, the one guy watching this pure chaos music.
Yeah, go
Um,
subscribe to him
um,
as well as Cami-Cat.
please subscribe. Oh yeah, he just dropped a cipher. Listen to that.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
listen to
yay.
everything Cami-Cat has ever made in her life.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Thank you. You don't
um,
have to like all of it. I have a weird eclectic array of music.
um, I was gonna say my next project
Mhm.
once this huge thing I'm working on right now, big
Yeah.
secret, but it has to do with the new game with a new game coming out very soon.
Hmm.
After that, I really shut up, Camden. You know,
Also, you said
um,
it on my podcast. You know.
no, I totally didn't say it in Diggs's episode.
No.
Um, but after that, I really really wanted to do an Undertale cipher,
Oh my
and
god.
I know that like you're into Undertale, so I was
Uh-huh.
gonna say, so I was gonna say,
I think we know where this is leading
I
to.
think I know where
I
this is
was
going, but I want you to say
me
it out loud. You have to
me
have it
me
on the recording.
personally, I was gonna say, just just come on, guys, you can't put me on the spot like this.
Hey, you
No,
said.
no, no. But
Hey, you said.
the thing is,
You.
I want you to ask this
Yeah.
because I also am curious if you know something about me because of like the Undertale stuff.
Also,
Because
Rain. Remember, you said don't be afraid to talk to big artists or just people. Say it.
Diggs the prophecy's words echo in my head.
Dig is the
Uh,
prophecy. Don't be afraid. That is not his voice.
yes, that is exactly what
Be
Diggs the
not
Yeah.
prophecy
afraid.
sounds
Yeah.
like.
Shoot your shot.
Diggs is the best romance stalker.
Uh, Cami-Cat, would you be willing to slide as someone, please?
And what?
Is this just because you think I'm cool?
Yeah,
That's kind of
and,
hilarious.
and because you seem to be very skilled in your Undertale knowing, and I love Undertale, so I'm like,
Well,
it kind of just
I did a lot of lyrical adaptations when Undertale was like super big. Like the most prominent one that I can think of that a lot of people did was the duet version of his theme. I actually wrote those lyrics with a friend.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. There's a lot of I feel it. I was in a huge Undertale phase, and then it died down a lot, and then I was granted with this beautiful thing called Pokemon Sword and Shield,
Hmm.
which, in case you guys didn't know, Toby Fox made the soundtrack for.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I
So
actually follow him on Twitter and he like announced that. Everyone just went, "Oh,
yeah,
more Toby Fox music."
so it was kind of just like, okay, Pokemon, you're really just trying to make me get back into my Undertale phase. So so
Yeah.
that I've been in it since,
I
and
think depending on when you reach out to me when the project starts happening, I have to see how many projects I have on my table at the moment because there is a lot of stuff that's moving in the background for me. I just have to
mhm,
see like what stuff gets done, what stuff is going to be happening at that moment, and if there's any potential stuff in the future that comes from the things I'm doing right now, if
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then the other thing I was gonna ask, me and Ken started
Yeah.
talking about this yesterday. Do you know what I'm gonna bring up, Ken?
Slightly.
The Among Us
Oh
thing.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I was actually
Okay.
gonna bring that up
So
later at the end.
okay, cool. Because I was gonna try to get Cammy on board. I've been fighting not DMing Cami all day, and I'm just like, just ask her in the podcast. Like,
Put me on the spot, why don't you?
Because then you have no choice to say yes. You can only say yes at that point.
Oh my
so,
gosh.
Cami, we are hosting a Among Us stream with a bunch of nerdcore artists playing, and every donation in the stream will go towards
St. Jude's
St. Jude's
Hospital.
Children,
Oh, I
St.
love
Jude's Children
that.
Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is on. This is the part that gets them. It's on September 1st.
I'm not going to be around my computer.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
actually
the
going to
part
be
that
going
gets them.
home.
Yeah, that's the part that gets them.
It mainly gets them because they don't know what day it is.
That was that's the thing. There's
If it were any other weekend, I'd be so down. My only problem is that is actually the weekend I'm going home to visit my parents.
Oh.
No,
Okay,
it's all good.
fine.
Yeah.
We're just getting as many as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
This Among Us thing
Do
is
get
the
me a
main.
link though. Do get me a link to the donations though, because I do want to help.
Yeah,
Even
of
if
course.
I can't be there.
Yeah.
You can peep into the stream. We got it.
Yeah, we're gonna probably
For
stream
sure.
it on YouTube and Twitch.
For sure.
And even
I
if,
got
and I'm gonna say this right now. Even if people like want to watch the stream, but they don't want to donate in the stream because they're worried that the donations aren't actually going there, then just at least donate to the hospital themselves. Hopefully.
Yeah,
that's all. Honestly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
There's a lot. Well, this Among Us thing is like the main bonding point for me and like Mir Blackwell. Because I've been talking to this guy and he's like, "Yeah, man, that sounds awesome. I'll get a couple people." And I'm like, "Oh, you will."
Mm-hmm.
So
actually, should we list off our roster right now, or should we wait till the stream?
All you guys are getting right now is Mir Blackwell. However,
nice.
Okay,
we had
hey. Ray. There's one more person. I'm gonna text you them, and then you tell me if I can say it.
Where's my drum roll?
I hang on. Let me guess who it is. Let me guess in my mind who it is before I tap on it. Yep, got it. All right.
Yep.
He was actually the first person to say yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Can I say he's in it or no?
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Okay. So the first person who actually said yes was Red Rob.
Really
good.
Love Red
really.
Rob.
I saw you took a picture with him and he posted it on his Twitter. That was my first time ever seeing what you looked like in real life. I'm like, hey, that's Cami-Cat. I have her on my podcast.
Yeah, I don't put my face out there a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like a little enigma. That was actually really funny at NPC this year. And I knew this was gonna happen, like in the back of my brain. But during the meet and greet, I got like some people who kind of recognized me and then some people who didn't. And like I would have a line and then I wouldn't have a line, so I'd kind of go wander for a little bit. And about like maybe 45 minutes before the meet and greet was over, they start playing Maw of the King over the speakers. And DJ Smell, Nenarama, Kathy Chan, Chi Chi, CG5, and like a couple other folks, they all look at me because we're all friends. And they're like, hey, it's your song. And me, with my super loud freaking mouth, decides in my brain go, I wonder if my voice could carry in this room without a microphone. Granted, I just did a performance last night and everyone's voice is like shot. It's gone. But I'm sitting there going, monkey brain going, I wonder if this would work. So like at the end so at the end of my song, there's like a little thing that I do, like a little vocal riff sort of thing. And I start doing it just for funsies. And then like it does in fact carry, and everyone in the like there kind of looks over and sees me doing it. They're like, yeah. And a volunteer runs over and she's like, you want to do that again with a microphone? And I went, sure. So they stopped the music and I did it again with the microphone. And then I started getting a line again because people don't recognize my face because I don't put it out there, but they recognize my voice straight away. So they all like ran over. They're like, you're Cami-Cat. I'm like, that's me.
That's such a
that made
that's such a like
Sorry, go.
That's such like a main character moment. Like, like,
Well, like it's not the first time it's happened either. At MomoCon this past year, I was walking around the artist alley and I actually had the fan that I had an NPC that people would have recognized. It said "Roll for Initiative" on it. It has a bunch of dice on it. I just thought it was cool, so I was like walking around with that to keep me cool. And this person like stopped me and they were like, "Oh my god, like I love your fan." And I went, "Oh my god, thank you so much. I bought it from like this artist down over there." And they just like full on white screen. And they went, "Cami?" And I went, "You looked at my face while you were saying that you liked my fan." "Yes, it's me. I'm Cami. Hello." Like she had no idea who I was until I opened my mouth.
That's actually crazy.
It's so wild, but it's also hilarious. It's like my superpower now.
Does it like catch you off guard, or do you just like get so used to it now?
It's weird that people are starting to recognize me now. Because I've been to a couple of different like events and stuff, and because I've never put my face out there, like I never had people like approaching me or anything. This was actually the first event. NPC was the first event where people actually did recognize me by my face, ran up to me, and they were like, "You're Cami-Cat," and I was like, "Oh, oh God, they're finally finding out who I am, my secret identity." Yeah, but I honestly, it's actually like a really cool experience because that means you've made enough of an impact on somebody that they're like that when they see you, they seek you out, and I think that's so cool. That's a very rare opportunity that not a lot of people actually get to like see what their music has done or like how their music has touched people or what their content or whatever has touched people. And I'm like, it just made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and I really like it. It's exhausting, like oh my god, like in the sense of I get peopled out, and so after everything, I was sitting there and I was like, I just want to lay in the dark for like 3 hours. But it honestly, I would do it 20 times over if I could because it's just so wonderful.
Yeah. I feel
That's
like
nice.
do
Yeah.
you know Jamar Rose?
I know of Jamar Rose. I don't think we've actually like I'm gonna feel awful if we have, but I don't think we've actually had like a full conversation. And if we have, I'm
Um,
so sorry because I'm terrible with faces and names. I'm really bad at it. I'm doing better than I have been before, but I'm still real bad at it.
he he used to do these nerdcore freshman
Mhm.
ciphers with like he would take a bunch of nerdcore artists around like the 400 500 subscriber range, put them
Mhm.
all on a cipher, and then upload it on his channel and give them all recognition.
Yeah.
And I love that for
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He and he, I'm a little bummed out he stopped doing them. I hope he brings them back soon because those were like a couple of my friends ended up being in them.
That's
I'm like,
cool.
yo, you're in a Jamar Rose cipher.
Yeah. I think I've done something with Jamar Rose if I remember right. Or at the very least we've been in projects together. Like
Yeah, you guys are
we're
in
not
Smash.
on like a full conversation. Yeah, we're both in Smash and I think we
I
might
think
have done
everyone's
one
in
other
Smash.
thing together. Yeah.
Everyone's in
I
Smash.
think we've done one other thing together though I can't remember it for the life of me. Cuz like I'm sitting there I'm like I'm pretty sure that we have interacted before, but for the life of me it's just like not coming to the surface of my brain. Which again,
Man.
I'm really bad.
The water needs to come back.
Oh
Uh
gosh.
oh. Uh oh.
But yeah, like that's only because like especially when it comes to like cipher stuff, I always feel like I'm kind of like coming in and going, "All right, thank you so much for your time," and now I'm gonna leave. Like I like dip in and dip out of the ciphers and stuff, just because I'm like, "Oh, thank you so very much. What a good opportunity. Farewell." Like,
um, I was gonna say something about Stupendium because I'm fanboying. Um, the Muppet cipher and the whole unlikely cipher thing
I
is
love the
so
unlikely ciphers. It's
good.
so clever. It's
And,
so clever because like what's so fun is that basically means that they can take whatever obscure media they want to and put it in that like particular genre of like unexpected and all of a sudden
mhm.
it's popular, which basically means you can get away with whatever you want now, which is kind of like what I love about content, like when you reach a certain point, like this is what like a lot of musicians in like the nerdcore space are able to do, too, is that you can basically write a song about whatever, and as long as you can relatively correlate it to a popular character or popular genre of thing or popular media, you can basically write whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
I do that a lot with like my D&D stuff, and like a lot of them relate to stories that no one else knows about. They are my characters in the campaigns that I play in that are like all private. No one knows what the hell's going on other
Mm-hmm.
than me and my friends. But the songs themselves are generic enough, or they're not like generic, but like they're vague enough on the references in that particular sense
To where you'd
that people
understand.
can resonate with them. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
people outside of that space that I have made it specifically for can resonate with it. And I find that so cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're like really running out of things to say.
No, you're
Yeah.
totally
No,
fine. Like
that's
I said, I
like
can talk.
Hey,
that's
you were
awesome.
the news anchor, the Freddie, whatever.
With
God.
especially with Stoop posting on their Twitter, like, hey, I need recommendations for the next Unlikely Cipher. Can you guys drop some down below? And almost every single comment, Stoops was like, yeah, we're not actually doing that. And like
Well, because the thing
it,
about that is like so many
and
people just want to see the popular stuff. And I'm
yeah,
sitting there going, no, I want to see like boy band cipher. I want to see
yeah,
like one
that's
person be the Backstreet Boys, one person be NSYNC, one
You,
person be BTS.
I,
Like,
I know what I
give
want.
me a boy band cipher that's all one person being an entire boy band.
I know what cipher he should make. Dave
the
the Diver.
um there was a
Dave the
thing that
Diver.
Stoop did of um it was a oh yeah it was with the Twitter post. A bunch of people were commenting like animes and like cartoons, like regular show cipher, and I'm kind of just like, I don't I don't know if that's what they're going for.
I
So
know what he wants.
What does he want?
He wants Dave the Diver.
no, and I comment I comment saying something. I don't know if it was because of me, but in the little roulette thing going through at the start of the Muppet Cipher, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I saw my thing on there,
Oh, nice.
and I don't know if it was because of me or something Stoops just came up with their brain, but I commented the solar system cipher.
That'd actually be kind of fun.
I want to see someone rep those planets. I want,
But the
I
I
question
want
want
is, would you
Jupiter to
add
go
Pluto?
hard.
The
what?
question is, does Pluto count?
They should do it like the Smash cipher. Like
Pluto?
Pluto comes
Yeah,
in at the end,
Pluto's
like
gonna be like the
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Pluto comes in
Yeah.
the very end.
Kevin Bennett's gonna be Pluto and be like, kind of weak. You forgot to feature the violent meanie. But like, nah,
Gosh.
I want to see Nemraps as Jupiter. I want get. I want
Saturn don't sing about rings or some or Sonic the Hedgehog.
yeah.
I'm gonna lose
Get
it.
Cammy as Saturn. We got like get Cam
Nice.
steady as Earth. He needs to rep. He needs to rep this planet.
uh,
Yeah.
Like,
what? Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
we're we're saying this like Stoops is listening, like
I
taking
know.
notes. Like yeah, yeah, I'll get him.
Ooh, good
Hold
idea.
on, let
Good
me DM them
idea.
real quick.
Tell him
Hold
to
on, let
make
me
sure
DM
to
real
watch
quick. So,
this
solar system.
episode.
I hope one another thing I was really hoping for with Stoops was with every unlikely cipher, it's different people, and
Yeah.
like
Or
that
at
would
least
be
as much as
awesome.
possible.
Yeah,
You're right
because
about that
like
eventually.
we'll make an excuse to see Nemraps as Jupiter, but
Hmm.
but like it would be really cool to just see like different people in all of them. I'm very
Yeah.
much hinting at Rustage, but
Yeah.
I think there's a good contender for that as well. Red
you're Red Rob.
Rob.
Stupendium, get me on a song. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Stupendium.
Okay,
There's
we gotta make
also
our
chaos.
we have to make our comment
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, Cammy.
think
So
of a cool
yeah,
name or cool name for the video.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cammy.
Quick little
Wait,
oh what in
what were
the
you gonna say?
well, I was gonna say quick little thing. Our videos tend to get more views when the guest has their name in the title.
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
like So that's like a thing.
Statistically.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Be like,
So,
Cami-Cat newscaster? No way.
Cami-Cat, Freddy. Fuck.
Cami-Cat was a
Cami-Cat can't stop
firefighter.
chatting. Cami-Cat chats.
Wait, no, that
Cami-Cat
works.
talk.
The C. Fucking.
Cami-Cat can't stop chatting.
That's it. Okay, but
That's
we
it.
need a comment. Cami, what's our
Cami-Cat
comment?
conversation. It's a Cami-Cat conversation.
Okay, what's our
Cami-Cat
comment?
Bar. Sorry. Make
Those
the
sweet
comment.
alliterations.
You have to make her
I
comment.
don't know. Make the comment.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yep.
Take.
Like, what do you mean by a comment? Like, what are we doing?
So okay.
Everybody.
So, yeah. Here, you explain it this time.
Okay. Every podcast episode, we leave a comment that most of the time we come up with, but Diggs takes charge. Where the people have to comment what we tell them to. Most of the time, they don't, but it's fun because we
only
have
on,
fun doing it.
Two.
Yeah, it's okay. We love you, Chaos.
Thank you,
Chaos. We could do something along the lines of like your D&D class.
Oh yeah.
Like comment.
Ranger class
like,
represent.
Yeah.
Ranger class represent. Who else is with
Yeah, there we
me?
go. Got it. Ranger class represent.
Everyone's just gonna say cancel it. They're just gonna say
Yeah.
cancel Ranger class.
Get out of here.
Ranger's my favorite. You're all just mean. You clearly never played a Colossus Slayer.
All right, this is that. This is the moment. This is it.
Yeah.
This is where we end the podcast.
Any final statements or questions from anyone?
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
I like being able to talk about these.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. It really helps out the channel.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't wait to see you and McGuire start yours.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, me and McGuire and Channel just come out with like a full open choir, like,
Just the intro, it's just a 10-minute long choir song.
You say that like it's a joke.
I know.
Many McGuires and many Cami-Cats.
Indeed.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I think that's it.
You're gonna do the outro, buddy.
Okay. I'm not getting out of this one either. Okay.
No. We made Drip do the intro, and actually, Drip messed up so bad on the intro, you had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine.
Okay.
This is your moment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you gotta breathe in.
Yep. Give him his moment. Sorry.
Thank you, Spinners, for joining tonight on Spinning Bars Podcast. I hope you all had a wonderful time listening here. And of course, I'm accompanied by my co-host, Rain, and our guest, Cami-Cat. And we all hope you have a wonderful night. Bye-bye!
Later!